Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Haunted Hearsay. This is Caroline up in Donegal, and I'm here with Ben, who's down in Dublin. Hi,
Oh,
Ben.
hi, how are you?
Did you have a nice Christmas?
It did. It was really nice. Nice and cozy, nice and relaxed. Everybody, a small affair this year, but yeah, definitely everything I wanted to do. Watch TV, be
Eat too much,
lazy.
drink too much.
I drank some. I didn't not drink, which actually last year I was very ill, so I didn't get to drink or to eat. So this year I ate, I made up for it and ate twice as much.
Well, do you know, I wasn't too bad. I overindulged in everything, and I'll say it again. I'm fed up with sweets and cakes and rich food and drink. So I'm doing dry January, and if I see another sweet, oh, just the thought of another sweet. Ugh.
I
I overindulged. I gave in to every whim over the Christmas, and I loved it.
like surrounded by
Yeah,
biscuits.
the most exciting thing I did was change into new pajamas every day because you can't leave the house, you can't do anything.
No, I
But
can't.
do you know, I've been watching a few things over the Christmas period, but there was one thing I thought I'm going to mention to you because it's something I'm interested in. Like I follow National Geographic and a lot of, like, the British museums and the American museums, etc., and what they're doing. By the way, if you can see horns, I've got on Happy New Year. I feel like I should get
Oh,
into
very
the festive mood, even though I'm
topical.
not gonna. Can you see just about?
You've got one for every
uh,
occasion.
yeah, well, why not?
Why not? Exactly.
It
Yeah.
works as a headband, like.
Yeah.
But I keep opening my eyes because I'm getting accused of sitting
Squinting.
doing that all the time. So I'm trying to keep my eyes open. But I was watching this program and it was there recently. I believe the discovery was made in November, the beginning of December, where scientists discovered a footprint and carbon dated the footprint in a fossil, a
Okay.
human footprint, and carbon dated it 150,000 years old.
Ooh.
Now, that is amazing when you think about it. That's
That
strange stuff.
shatters the perception of
It
how old
does.
humans are.
So of course, I've been looking into lots of other things that they've been doing recently as well. And I've often thought, you know how the way that people back in sort of Mesopotamia, etc., could remember Atlantis,
Hmm.
but could remember not just Atlantis, other people that had all these abilities that they would considered magical at the time, been able to fly, been able to things that we can do now that we take for granted.
Yeah.
So I was thinking it's
Predominance.
very possible that we evolved the way we have done, because when you think about a lot of the things that we've been able to do in the last 2 centuries took us 5 or 6 centuries to get to, if you know what I mean. But is it possible that we did evolve before
Hmm.
and that we got to the stage where we're at now? Where I'm
Yeah.
not saying we evolved to the same standard, but there's obviously aspects of human people that were able to do, like maybe flight, maybe basic flight, like sort of the way the
What
Wright
about
brothers did.
maybe it wasn't flight, but well, yeah,
Yeah, but I mean,
there's a few things
like
here.
gliders and things like that, you could
Oh yeah,
imagine
like
that would have
well,
been
like
possible for them
so
to
on an
do. Yeah,
actual technology level, yeah, like
yeah. And I was thinking it's very possible that we came to that stage in our lives and then through war and possibly then the meteorite showers and
just
volcanoes and the
it
fact
doesn't
that,
need to be
that
just war. Yeah, it could be. I
I think it was a mix.
imagine
That's what I'm saying. I think it was a mix of all these things
end
that
of
all that
late
whole
end of world.
civilization disappeared. We
Mm.
were thrown back into the dark ages and we went from being advanced to primitive man again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I could see that happening now because, I mean, you look around you now and the pandemic that we have now, the global pandemic that we have now, and you think about it, I mean, if we were to, now you can see the way that it's sort of stopped lots of things and lots of business, excuse me, lots of businesses have stopped because of this, and we've had to, there's no problem with that. But could you imagine then a breakdown, say, in leadership in various countries? You could see it happening that say, well, I mean, a breakdown in governments would be enough for us to lose, say, nuclear power, which is actually probably what's fueling most of our electric nowadays. Governments don't tell you that, but that's why they still have nuclear power. I'm not saying that that's exactly what they're doing
But
or that's why. I
in
don't
some
know enough
countries,
about that. But you know
in
what I mean? It's one of the reasons. Like,
France, France, for
yeah,
instance, is mostly nuclear power.
You look around the generation that we have now and put it like this: if you were to cut the feet out from under them in one go, would they be able to do what our forefathers did beforehand and keep us sustained? I don't think so. I think you have a dumbed down generation, including myself in that. I think we have it because the more technology we have, the more we have, the less we think, and the less we think, the less we seem to do. But I mean, to give you an example, before mobile phones, and I can remember before mobile phones because I'm old enough.
Me too.
And yeah, it's but before that, I knew the numbers of every friend I had, every relation I had. I could have told you their numbers off by heart. I can't tell you my mother's phone number now because I don't have to do it. So I've never had to learn it. So as a result, I don't know it and I hit redial. But if you ask me my mother's phone number, I'd be like, oh, I don't know.
My
I could
problem
tell
is,
you her landline from Dunlow that we lived in the
yeah,
70s and
yeah,
the early 80s, but I
same.
couldn't tell you I couldn't tell you her mobile phone because we've all dumbed down. The more technology we've had, we've all dumbed down. Anyway, it was something I was thinking about and I thought, yeah, very fatalist, I suppose. But I just thought if this pandemic continued and then there was a breakdown, say, in any other form or fashion in society, I don't think we have enough people in this generation, the generation coming up, it won't be my generation, but the generation coming up that would know enough to do to sustain us the way we are now. Do you know
Mm,
what I mean? I
yeah,
think the
no,
more technology we have, it's dumbed us down.
it would change the. Yeah, it would be cataclysmic, and
It would be, wouldn't it?
yeah,
But I think that's phenomenal to get like a footprint
but
150,000 years old.
this.
Well, anyway, sorry. I of course I'm always getting sidetracked. I did put up on our Haunted Hearsay page that we're going to debut, well, not debut, but to show your film about
Oh yeah,
Banshee. But could you just tell us a wee bit about the film first before we show it? And
yeah. So it was the second grad film that we did in university, and it's a lot more of an artistic film. But we shot the film in Donegal during the winter of 2012, and the summer before that we had spent traveling around Donegal to find out what everybody thought a banshee actually was. Um,
mm,
and we went on all sorts of different excursions looking for locations and thatched cottages and very atmospheric places. And we so ultimately it's a student film. It was a grad piece that we did for
the actors are all from, like, they were
they're all
all actors from
professional
the
actors.
Gaiety.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
A lot of them are based at the Gaiety in Dublin and things like that. People might recognize a few of the faces.
yeah. There's the mother was in Ross na Ruin on TG Carr, and Circa Bannon's been in loads of things, and
Well, we love Circa.
yeah,
We
um,
love Circa.
yeah. So
So,
it's a very slow moving film, but it's more of uh, and it's definitely not for children. That's something I will say. There's kind
yeah.
of and there's very little dialogue. There's nearly next to no dialogue. It's you kind of just read the film as it flows, and that's the kind of Anthony, the director, was trying to tap into the sort of essence and the mood and the tone of.
Like a day in the life of this family, and you're just looking
Well,
at it and
it's just
seeing what
how
happens
harsh it
basically.
is. Like the stories come from the landscapes, and the landscape is if you go to the Rosses in Donegal in the winter on a January evening, and back in the day when you don't have electricity, you only have a fire keeping your family warm. And in this story, there's no father either. So it's the mother and the two kind of grown up children and this
She's
forest.
a bit special, the girl.
Yeah, the Banshee is superstition. It's superstition that's been in Ireland for a long time. Um, in
But I'm
this,
saying Circa, the part that she plays, she's a bit of an innocent
she's very
and
innocent.
easily
Yeah,
led.
yeah. And the son is kind of he overcompensates because there's no father.
Hmm.
Um, now there's no. This isn't explicit. You can read what you will from the film. But on the drama side. It's kind of left open to interpretation, but ultimately there's a dynamic there where essentially, for lack of a better word, an evil force enters their home, but it's really through the daughter in the family, and
I mean, it's not really, you were saying like back in the day when we first came here to live, I was only a wee girl.
yeah.
But we stayed up in my father's family home, which was a thatched cottage up in Rannihuel in Mulliduff. No electricity, no running water, no inside toilet. It was another wee thatched cottage at the side of the house that had the toilet in it. And my mum had the four of us, and she cooked everything on the fire. All the big old pots she used to make the scone bread and put it in the big old pot and cover it all with ashes and everything. And I remember that, and to us that was just such an adventure when we were kids. I can imagine my mum, well, not I can imagine, I know for my mum it was a torture. She's stuck with kids in the house with none of this. I mean, we were only there for about a year and a half before we moved to Dunlow. So it's not, I mean, I could tell you people that are living like that now. They're very, very few and far between. But I do know of one or two people that are still living without electricity. They live away over in the bogs in these old houses, and they've no interest in getting it in. They've just got used to their way of life.
The time frame for the film, I think, is kind of 40s, 50s.
And Ireland was very much like that at the
And
time.
it's not
That's the point I'm saying.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily a extremely poor household, because it's a big cottage on a nice farmstead. But the problem there in this scenario is that the father's not there. There's in the sense that the family have to all kind of work a bit harder. The daughter has to go to the market when she wouldn't normally go, that kind of thing. So,
would you know? But did you know something? Something clicked into my head there, so I have to say it. My grandfather, Paddy Sweeney, God rest his soul, he's passed now. My dad's dad. They lived in at Rannihuel, and I remember him telling me that when he was wee, he had to walk to Kincastle with the eggs that their hens laid to exchange for money and for usually grain or whatever it is his mom would cook with. They grew all their own vegetables, or if they were buying meat was a real luxury, because it would have been their own hens, etc. And I remember that from Rannihuel to Kincastle, that would have been like 2.5, 3 miles for a wee boy to walk to hand in eggs. That's, I remember him telling us stories like that. They just stuff they took for granted. And you just think it wasn't really that long ago, really. And
2 generations ago,
we've been very lucky. We are very spoiled, actually, as a generation. And I love the fact that we have the Christmases that we have now. It's not the Christmases our grandparents had growing up, because there wasn't one.
No.
My mum says I was wrong about the fact that it was Glasgow that she got a doll in. She was 4 when she went to Glasgow, but it was just after Christmas, and the doll she got was here. And her parents did it because it was becoming a bit of more of a fashionable thing. So they got to my mum and her sister Agnes, God rest her, Agnes is gone. All my mum's family's gone. She was the youngest of 8. She's the only one left. And the other ones were all grown up and moved to America, etc. She says, no, that was her first present, but it was most likely because they were moving to Glasgow. And she says she remembers that the two of them got the 2 dolls. So it wasn't in Glasgow, it was here she got them. But it was unusual because people didn't celebrate Christmas here the way that we do now. It was, a holy candle, and you went to mass and you had holly above the door. That was it. The gift giving thing was, was very much a new, where we're getting lots of presents. That was very much a new thing, So I just wanted to interject with that. Listen, we're going to bring it to a close because it's New Year's Eve and nobody wants to sit and listen to us rambling on for ages. I want to wish everybody a very happy new year. Let's hope, my God, that 2021 is an improvement on 2020.
Yes, well, let's hope we can get outside at least at some point and bring some more interviews and
Yes, get out and
Go
meet
to some
people
of these
again. I
places.
don't know if we get the good weather that we got last year during the lockdown. I'm kind of looking forward to that. If we don't get that, oh, but I'm kind of hoping even if we get that, I think if everyone behaves themselves this time, we should get we should get through it, and hopefully by Easter it'll be all over and done with. I think what's wrong is a lot of people have denied that it's happening, or
Yeah,
that it's real, or that it's general, and they're the people that put us back, the people that are following the rules, the people that are doing what they're supposed to do, and they're the ones that are putting us a step back. Let's get into 2021, and hopefully it'll be a much more, what's the word I'm looking for?
just generally better in all ways.
Yes. So we can get back out and
Yeah,
celebrate and do things, and get
live our
exactly.
life.
We want to get back out and live our lives again. We don't want to be just existing and getting through this. So yeah, I mean, I'd say like ourselves, I'd say most people are staying in tonight. I
Mm,
never go out New Year's Eve anyway. It's a very long time since I've gone out New Year's Eve. I
no.
think it's the Scots in me just always wants to take the bells in at home. In Glasgow, that used to be the thing where you brought the bells in at 12 o'clock, and then everyone would be hanging out there. All the boat yards with all the boats would go with their horns. People would be hanging out their windows shouting Happy New Year to all their neighbours, etc. And there wouldn't be a sinner on the street between 11 and 12 o'clock. Well,
That's
when I say
so
that, there'd be
true.
hardly anyone on the street. But the minute the bells went, streets are packed. Everyone's going to parties. Everybody, there'll be none of that this year, I would imagine.
Hopefully.
But yeah, and that's a very Scottish tradition to bring the bells in at home, and then you get your first footer, and you have to bring the luck in at home before you go out. Like, so I've always had that. Myself and my sister Rosanna, I think, probably observed it more than anybody else in the
I can
family.
imagine you shouting at a window in Donegal at 12 at night.
I know. I know. Kind of wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't
No.
work the same. Definitely not. But listen, I hope you have a
Yeah,
fabulous night, regardless of
you-
what you do. And so, yeah, this is our last broadcast for 2020. So
yeah,
2021, we're
it'd be a better
starting. We'll be
one.
wanting your opinions on the film, The Banshee, which will be available to watch at any time. You don't have to watch it tonight, but it will be available
We
to
want
watch tonight.
everyone on the Facebook page to come over and make sure they're watching the videos on the YouTube.
Yes, I know everyone's
Oh,
very
fun.
kind about the Facebook and about liking us, and except, but you
Mm,
need to go onto the link as well.
watch the videos.
Yeah, and I've
Yeah.
copped on. See what you said before about the link if you're not signed in. I realized that because I went on to look at someone else on YouTube, and somebody, my friend's sister, she's a singer and dancer. So I went on to look, and it's like, do you want to sign in? And I thought, no, why would I sign in? Am I not already signed in? And then it was like I couldn't like it and I couldn't share it
Mm.
without signing into YouTube. And I thought I was already signed in. So I understand now when I get lots of friends tell me, yes, we did, we liked it, but we can't share it. And I'm like, oh. So unless you have a YouTube account.
We get you. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for all the support so far anyway. We've got lots of likes and lots of feedback face to face. Would love a few more comments. But
Yeah, see, I am getting the comments on
we,
Messenger or Facebook because it's people that don't have YouTube accounts, so it's hard for them to get
yeah.
in. And yeah, that's the point I'm making. So
Oh yeah,
hopefully,
yeah, fair enough.
yeah, hopefully we'll
But
that
we're
you know
getting
yourself. Your generation
lots
are
of like
okay, they know
support.
what to do. My
Yeah.
generation,
We're just trying to
my
find
my
like
peer group, my
we
peer group, the majority of them wouldn't have YouTube accounts. And they're like, yeah, right, okay, we'll get it sorted.
and if it's not
But
for you, it's not for you, you know. It's if it's well, actually, if it's not for you, you haven't watched this far. But if it
yeah, I don't even think it's that, because I would have been the same before we did this. I just wouldn't have occurred to me to go in to do it.
oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
so I think that's the case for a lot of people. But now that you're telling them, it's like, all right, okay. It's like Twitter. I joined Twitter there several days ago for the first time
Did you?
in forever. And you know me, I love my books. And all of a sudden I realized I can talk to the authors.
Mm.
And they're accessible, and and I thought, well, I didn't know this. That's another story. I'll tell you that one again, actually. But we'll just finish off here now because I keep getting sidetracked.
Right.
So yeah, happy New Year,
Happy New
everyone.
Year, everyone, and happy New
Please
Year,
tune in,
Canada.
and yeah, and please like and subscribe. And I know you are going to enjoy Ben and Anthony's film because I've seen it before, and I know it's fabulous. So listen, happy New Year, everybody. God bless.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.